When my wife Henriella and I moved here in 1973, we had not thought of starting a museum. We lived in this home in Huntington, West Virginia with our 3 children, 2 daughters, Michelle, age 12, Melanie, age 10, and our son Adi, age 2. We had never lived on a farm, and neither had either of our parents. However, we thought raising our children on a farm would be a good idea. They would be able to have horses and pets and learn a sense of responsibility as they cared and provided for them. The problem was the purchase of the farm took all of our money, and we had to move into this house within 90 days of when this picture was taken. The house had no indoor plumbing and only 1 strand of electric lights with 1 light and an outlet for the radio. The adventure had begun. The house was actually a log cabin with wood siding and had recently burned. The fire charred some of the logs but completely destroyed the old wood shingles under the tin roof. We had to remove the fire debris, replace the roof, install a septic tank, install a kitchen and bathroom, and otherwise electrify the cabin. Needless to say, it was not ready when we had to move in without any air conditioning or heat other than a wood stove. We were thankful for family and friends who helped us greatly, and without their help, then and since, none of what you now see today would have been possible.
Actually, we never envisioned living very long in the cabin as it appeared so inadequate. We dreamed of building a new farmhouse home in the field across from the cabin someday when we had saved enough money. However, as we worked on the cabin, we fell in love with the hand-hewn logs. They were beautiful after we removed all the wallboard, newspapers, and filth off of them. We began to imagine and talk about when and how they were cut and shaped. This led to a discussion of who did the work and wondering about the tools they used. This fascination with the cabin and thinking about its humble beginning was the seed of what is today Heritage Farm. However, this seed does not fully bloom for over 15 years as we worked on our house and barn and otherwise adjusted to farm life. Here is the same old log cabin today after remodeling. Dreams do come true and sacrifices are worth it.
Our interest in logs resulted in our family going junking every Saturday as we acquired implements, tools, and devices utilized in constructing log cabins. Our fascination continued as we began to collect the furniture, cooking ware, washing and ironing devices, and other implements used in farming and providing their clothes and footwear. Remember, when the earliest settlers came over the mountains, they were much more remote and isolated than people in the East. They had to be their own doctors, dentists, nurses, veterinarians, blacksmiths. They had to clear the land by chopping down the huge trees, plant their gardens for food, and provide everything else they needed with the few tools and devices they brought with them over the mountains. There were no stores for many years. Imagine yourself being so isolated. How resourceful, ingenious, creative these people were. This realization became the real driving force of what is today Heritage Farm. We wanted to establish a place where these early ancestors could not only be remembered, but more importantly, their example could inspire people today to dream of a brighter future for themselves if they were as committed and as willing to work as hard as their ancestors. We traveled to many museums to gather ideas how to best accomplish our dream. Most of the museums depicted a certain time in history and then were very careful not to display anything later in time. Most were the houses and farms of wealthy and famous people. We wanted our museum to be about the average people and how they coped with the enormous changes that developed as people began to leave the farm and work in factories manufacturing automobiles and countless labor-saving devices for their homes. The people who remained on the farms benefited by the manufacturing of many new tractors, plows, thrashers, etc. that enabled them to produce far more food per person than anyone had ever imagined before. The development of steamboats, steam trains, automobiles, airplanes, and other inventions that greatly changed how people communicated with other people many miles away and how they transported their heavy manufactured goods over land, water, and air to customers many miles away also greatly impacted our ancestors and led to creating a quality of life we so often take for granted today.
Our museum first began in the old barn near the Strawberry Inn and then expanded nearby to the country store in what had been a tractor storage shed. However, as the barn had many steps and was not handicap accessible, we started in the mid-1990s, expanding to its present location, which at the time was nothing but a cornfield. There were no buildings on the site, and everything you will see has been built since that time. None of the structures except the one-room schoolhouse and 3 walls of the church came from a single place. Most are built from old log houses and barns we dismantled in West Virginia, Ohio, and Kentucky, and then rebuilt using multiple structures to create what you see today. Today, for example, the Apple Butter Inn, which has 4 bedrooms and 4 1/2 baths, contains logs 100 to 150 years old from 8 different previous structures.
Our intention from the beginning was to create a place where our visitors could learn about these early settlers to remote areas of Appalachia and leave with a better appreciation of what it took for them to survive against unbelievable hardships and challenges with only a few basic tools and supplies. We wanted people to gain a better understanding of their ingenuity, creativity, and resourcefulness and leave with a different attitude than they perhaps had when they came about the rich history and culture of West Virginia and Appalachia. We also wanted people to realize the vital role the people played in fueling the industrial growth of our great nation by providing with great effort and sacrifice the necessary coal, steel, wood, oil, and gas to build it. You will be given a guided tour, and a word of explanation about that is appropriate. In our visit to other museums, we experienced many different approaches to help explain what the visitor was seeing. The most normal was signage and explanations to read. Others used sound recordings, video, and other technological systems. We like those with human guides. Only a guide seems able to adapt to the wide variety in age, interest, background, and time to spend. It is not a perfect system, but one we still feel is best for most people. Depending upon your schedule and how much time you have to spend with us, there is a lot to see. The regular guided tour features 3 museums: the Progress, the Transportation, and the Country Store museums. Other museums and exhibits are available if time permits for an additional fee. See a one-room schoolhouse, blacksmith shop, broom shop, children's hands-on activities, industry museum with an authentic coal mine, an Appalachian Heritage Museum containing many of our earliest collected items moved from the original old barn. Thank you for coming. Please visit us again, as we are always striving to add new exhibits and enhance existing ones to provide a better learning experience and atmosphere. Perhaps soon you will have more time and you can see more of the different museums than you were able to visit today. You might enjoy spending some time with us overnight with family or friends. Enjoy God's beautiful creation. Slow down and learn to relax. Sit on the porch, take a walk or a hike in the woods, and contemplate what all we take for granted today, and develop an appreciation of our past, thereby allowing you to dream about a brighter tomorrow, the future.
As you go through the museums, we hope you remember there are at least 4 reasons why we believe it is important to preserve and celebrate our past, and why we believe you will benefit from your visit to this museum today.
It demonstrates how the arts were incorporated in the daily lives, both in work and play of our ancestors, and the importance of the arts to them and how it has survived to us today. They would not have called it the arts, but music, dance, sewing, painting, poetry, and storytelling, which are all part of our history. It demonstrates the importance of change to people, businesses, and organizations, and the consequences of successfully and unsuccessfully dealing with change. It creates an atmosphere whereby people can learn to appreciate the present and dream of a better future. By viewing the past as a window to the future, we realize what it takes to make dreams come true. Enjoy. We hope to see you again soon. Remember our annual Spring Festival in early May, when all of our exhibits are in operation, or one of our other special activities throughout the year, or perhaps take some craft classes. Thanks again for coming, and please help us spread the word about Heritage Farm Museum and Village by telling your friends about your visit. Thank you.